just after the biggest showdown of supports like Durin, Columbina, Inefa, and Shilonen. The future banners are looking absolutely stacked. We have some of the most broken DPS reruns right around the corner, like Skirk and Mavuika, and on top of that, nod-krai DPS characters like Nefer and Flynn's are also expected to get their banners. Alongside all of this, we're getting a brand new unit, Varka, who is expected to be the next major DPS release in version 6.4. We also just received some massive kit updates, which finally give us a clearer picture of how valuable Varka could actually be. So let's start with Varka. Starting with his kit, his normal attacks are fairly simple, but his elemental skill is where his entire kit revolves. When you press his skill, he enters a special stance, and then you spam normal attacks to charge and unlock his enhanced skill, very similar to how Flynn's and Zibai function. This enhanced skill is looking to be his primary source of damage. What makes it even more interesting is that this damage will be infused. For example, if you have a Pyro teammate, Varka will deal Pyro infused damage, and the same applies to Hydro, Electro, or Cryo teammates. The exact infusion priority is not fully confirmed yet, but based on previous characters and general Anemo infusion rules, Pyro should have the highest priority, followed by Hydro, Electro, and then Cryo. As for his elemental burst, we still don't have full details, but earlier information suggested that it will be a massive nuke. We also previously heard that Varka would have two playstyles similar to Skirk. However, with the new information we have now, that part has become a bit unclear. That said, we should be getting more confirmation within the next week. Before we move on to his passives, a quick reminder, our 10,000 subscriber special giveaway is still running. More details are in the description, and don't forget to check out Loot Bar, as they're offering massive discounts for the current banners. Just use my link below. It's currently the cheapest and safest way to top up for Genshin Impact. Now, coming back to Varka. His passives are actually very interesting. Varka is a Hexenzirkel character, which means he gains additional damage when you run him with another Hexenzirkel unit, similar to how Durin works. The damage difference here is quite significant, so realistically, you will almost always want another Hexenzirkel member on the team. This also further reduces the cooldown or charge time of his enhanced skill. His second passive helps him reach his enhanced skill faster by rewarding normal attacks. On top of that, he gains an extra stack of buffs when you run two Anemo characters. He also gains one stack when the other two teammates share the same element, either Pyro, Hydro, Cryo, or Electro. Again, this is still very early information and not his complete kit, but the source looks quite solid, so most of these mechanics are expected to stay. Now let's talk about teams. The team structure for Varka is fairly straightforward. You generally want two Anemo characters and two characters of the same element, Pyro, Hydro, Cryo, or Electro. His current best-looking team is Venti, Durin, and Bennett. Venti provides a massive 50% damage bonus through his burst, along with the viridescent Veneraire. Durin provides 35% resistance shred and strong off-field Pyro application. Bennett holds Noblesse Oblige for extra attack buffs, and also covers Sustain. If you don't have Venti, there are multiple alternatives. You can use Jean at C4, Sucrose holding Thrilling Tales, Lanyon, or Faruzan at C6. We still don't know how much of Varka's damage will be pure Anemo, so it's hard to say which option will be best, but these are all solid choices. Aoife is also a viable option, holding Thrilling Tales and the Cinder City set. However, Cinder City provides damage bonus to only two elements, and it does not outperform Viridescent Veneraire. This is important to clarify because a lot of people are confused about this. Viridescent Veneraire reduces resistance for the elements you swirl, which is used element, Pyro in this case. On top of that, it also boosts swirl damage, which makes it far stronger overall. So, in almost every case, you will always prefer to run the Viridescent Veneraire set. For players who don't have Durin, you can run double Anemo with Venti and Sucrose to activate Hexenzirkel buffs, and then pair them with Mavuika and Bennett. Mavuika gives you access to Cinder City alongside Viridescent Veneraire, which is actually very strong.
Another option is double Hydro. Hydro has some of the strongest supports in the game, and since Varka appears to scale heavily from damage bonus, this setup is extremely effective. Farina paired with a healer can be insanely strong. Elan is another excellent option. The best double Hydro setup looks like Jean at C4, Farina, and Mona. If you don't have Jean C4, you must run a healer with Farina, and if you replace Farina with Elan, you can run Venti, Elan, and Mona with Mona holding Thrilling Tales.
In Hydro-based setups, Mona actually becomes a very solid option, especially as a Hexenzirkel member and buffer for Varka. That said, Pyro teams are still noticeably stronger than any other setup right now. This is mainly because of how broken Durin is for Anemo units, combined with the extra attack bonus from double Pyro Resonance, which buffs the entire team. Electro teams are also an option. You can pair Venti, Fischl, and Kuki, or use Fischl as a Hexenzirkel member and fill the remaining slots with buffers. However, these setups are weaker compared to both Pyro and Hydro teams, simply because Electro lacks strong buffers specifically designed for Anemo DPS units. When it comes to Cryo, it's not recommended at all. There is very little synergy, and Cryo provides almost no meaningful value to Varka's kit. As mentioned earlier, Varka will be using the new artifact set, which provides a decent amount of attack and around 20% crit rate, so his build requirements are actually not that demanding. Now, talking about his playstyle more clearly, Varka has multiple viable team options, but his core setups will almost always be double Pyro or double Hydro. Units like Durin and Farina are shaping up to be his best buffers overall, since they provide resistance shred and strong damage bonuses that perfectly synergize with Varka's kit. One unfortunate downside is that Varka does not have Lunar Swirl. Because of that, he has no direct synergy with Columbina or Inefa, who are currently the strongest sub-DPS units in the game. Looking at his team structure, it's very difficult to fit them naturally. You can technically run Inefa alongside Fischl, but that setup is nowhere close to Varka's best performing teams. That said, Varka may gain future synergy with Nicole, making her another unit worth keeping an eye on. Especially for players who don't own Durin, Nicole could end up being the character that completes his team. Now, talking about pull value, will Varka be better than Mavuika or Skirk? He could end up in the same tier, but we need to wait for more confirmed updates before making that call. What we can say for sure is that Varka brings something genuinely new to the table, which makes him very interesting. To get the maximum output from him, it's highly recommended to run either Durin or Venti, since both are Hexenzirkel members and immediately fulfill one of his passive conditions. From there, you can freely slot in buffers. Venti, in particular, is extremely valuable, since he is the only character in the game who directly buffs swirl damage, which makes him the best Anemo support by far. Durin can technically be replaced by units like Mavuika or Bennett, but in Pyro-based teams, Durin will always be the best option. We should be getting Varka's full kit by next week, so stay tuned for that. And don't forget to participate in the giveaway. Till then.